Hello friends, today I have come with another thrilling story. This is the story of a man whose house one day gets entered by two beautiful girls under the excuse of asking for help. They then start provoking him, and later she forcefully intimate with him. After that, they blackmail him and force him into doing very dirty things, which we will see in this story. So let's begin the story. In the beginning, we see a man named Stephen, who is an architect by profession. He lived happily with his wife Karen and their two kids. His wife Karen also worked in an art gallery. Stephen and Karen had planned a beach trip with the kids, but due to some urgent work, Stephen couldn't go with them. So Karen took both kids and left for a week-long beach trip, while Stephen stayed home with their dog. That same night, while Stephen was working at home, there was heavy rain outside. Suddenly, his doorbell rang. When Stephen opened the door, he saw two girls standing there, one named Belle and the other Genesis. They were completely drenched in rain. They told Stephen that they were looking for an address to attend a party, but because of the rain, they got lost, and their phones also got damaged. So Stephen let them in to help, gave them some towels, and also an iPad so they could look for the address. Genesis checked the iPad and said that they had come very far from the place and that the taxi driver had dropped them at the wrong location. So Stephen booked a cab for them, which was supposed to arrive in 45 minutes. Since both girls were completely wet, they asked Stephen to dry their clothes in the dryer. After using the washroom, Belle and Genesis came to him while Stephen was making tea for them. They all sat in the living room and started chatting, but Belle and Genesis kept trying to get close to Stephen. Feeling uncomfortable, Stephen shifted to another chair and checked his phone, where he saw that the cab would arrive in 20 minutes. He asked them about their work, to which they replied that they were both air hostesses. During this time, Belle and Genesis kept trying to seduce Stephen, but he moved away again because he was married and wanted to keep distance. Still, the girls continued telling him stories of their lifestyle and travels, again trying to seduce him. Stephen checked his phone again and saw that the cab was now just 5 minutes away. At that moment, Genesis went to the washroom, while Belle once again tried to seduce Stephen. Then Stephen got a call from the cab driver, as the taxi had already arrived outside. Belle went to call Genesis from the washroom while Stephen went to get their clothes. But when the girls didn't come out for a long time, Stephen knocked on the door. Getting no response, he covered his eyes and went inside, only to find both Belle and Genesis without clothes, trying to intimate with him. This time, Stephen lost his control and intimate with them in the bathroom, and later in the bedroom as well. And just like that, the entire night passed. And then morning comes. When Stephen wakes up, he doesn't see Belle and Genesis anywhere, so he thinks maybe they left. But then he hears their laughter from the kitchen. When he goes there, he finds they have completely messed up his kitchen. Seeing this, Stephen asks them to leave his house. At that moment, Stephen's wife makes a video call, so he goes outside to talk to her. After finishing the call, he comes back inside, tells the girls to put on their clothes, and asks them to leave. But instead of leaving, Belle and Genesis start ruining Karen's artwork. Annoyed, Stephen threatens to call the police and have them arrested. But Belle tells him that both of them are underage, and since he already numbered intimate with them, the police would arrest him for rape. Just then, one of Karen's friends comes to the door. Stephen tells the girls not to make a sound and goes to open the door. While Stephen is talking, Genesis comes and starts clinging to him, because of which Karen's friend misunderstands and insults Stephen badly before leaving. After this, Stephen scolds the girls harshly, and this time really calls the police. Scared, Belle and Genesis agree to leave. Somehow, Stephen drives them and drops them outside a house, then returns and starts cleaning his home because they had messed up everything. At night, when Stephen is working, suddenly he hears the sound of breaking glass. When he goes to check, he sees his family photo has fallen on the ground. As he bends down to pick it up, Genesis attacks him from behind and Stephen faints. When Stephen regains consciousness, he finds himself tied up on a bed. He shouts at Genesis to untie him. Then Belle comes in wearing Stephen's daughter's school dress. After that, both of them approach Stephen and start removing his clothes. Just then, Stephen's wife makes a video call. Genesis tells Stephen to hashtag intimate with Belle. Otherwise, she will tell his wife during the call that he is having fun with them. Out of fear, Stephen agrees. Belle comes on top of him and starts number intimate, making shameless noises while Genesis records everything. During this, Genesis goes to the kitchen to get some food. Using all his strength, Stephen frees himself from the rope and pushes Belle onto the bed, making her unconscious. But later, both girls again tie up Stephen and start acting like psychos in front of him. They torture him by putting headphones on him and playing loud music. After some time, Louis, Karen's assistant, arrives and rings the doorbell. When he comes inside, he doesn't find Stephen because the girls had locked him in a room. They tell Louis that they are Stephen's nieces, but then Louis hears noises coming from a room. When he tries to go there, the girls steal his inhaler from his pocket. Louis goes inside the room and finds Stephen tied with ropes. Shocked, Louis tries to help him. Meanwhile, the girls start breaking Karen's artwork. Louis tries to stop them, but Stephen warns him not to go near them, saying they are very dangerous. Louis still tries to stop them, but suddenly he starts having breathing trouble because he has asthma. When Louis searches his pocket for the inhaler, he doesn't find it, since the girls already stole it. Now both girls start throwing Louis's inhaler to each other like a game, while Louis desperately tries to get it. In the struggle, Louis slips, hits his head on a stone, and dies instantly. Seeing this, both girls laugh. After seeing this, Stephen realizes that both girls are complete psychos. They cover Louis's dead body with paper, paint over it, and make it look like a sculpture to hide the corpse. Then, using Stephen's phone, they send a message to Louis's phone in such a way that later people would think Louis was having an affair with Karen and that Stephen killed Louis out of revenge. Meanwhile, Stephen tries to send a message to his wife using the iPad with his feet, but the girls catch him. They throw the iPad outside and break it. After this, they start breaking everything in the house and create complete chaos. Later, they dig a hole in the garden. When Stephen shouts for help, they point a gun at him, making him scared and helpless. The next day, they tie Stephen and bury him inside that hole, leaving only his head above the ground. Then they tell him about themselves that they are psychos and they enjoy doing this. They say they were just playing a game with him and that they have done the same with many men before. Their targets are always married men. After this, they take Stephen's phone and show him the video where Belle, wearing his daughter's school dress, was intimate with him. Then they upload that video on Stephen's Facebook profile with the title Happy Father's Day, so that people would think Stephen was having watched intimate relations with his own daughter. Leaving the phone there, they walk away. Stephen somehow manages to free one of his hands and tries to delete the video, but by mistake, instead of deleting, he ends up liking the video. A little later, we see Stephen's wife and kids return home. They find the whole house in a complete mess, but Karen doesn't understand anything and assumes maybe Stephen did all this with his friends after they left, and the story will end. So friend, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe our channel. Thank you.